Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Gub, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a few reworks for our favorite trio of heroes, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. If there's a particular one you're excited for, feel free to use the sections to go immediately to the one that you like. As always, this is for fun and should not be taken seriously. And as much as I'd love to yap, let's just hop right into it. Sonic the Hedgehog, the fastest thing alive. I quite like his base kit already, though I did decide to change it up a bit. For starters, his drop dash has physics. The higher you drop when you use the ability, the faster you go. Going down a slope speeds you up, while going up a slope slows you down. You can ram into the EXE as many times as you like, though each time would lower your speed by roughly 50%. Each hit stuns for a second and adds on to each other, accumulating with each hit. Each hit gives you 5 dodge instead of 10, and has a cooldown of 35 seconds, but that cooldown lowers by 2 seconds for each hit you connect. This is simply done to encourage using it as an offensive tool rather than a getaway option. Peel out remains mostly the same, though it now has a flat cooldown of 35 seconds, 45 in LMS, but with a 2-second startup rather than a 3-second one. It also lasts for 5 seconds instead of 7 seconds. This is only in LMS, of course, not normally, as it is completely normal when used outside of LMS. For his third ability, that's new, he has a dash. He dashes quickly in the direction the camera faces, even vertically. Think a significantly shorter distance, no wind-up chaos drain. You get iframes during the duration of the dash, and this ability isn't intended for distance. Instead, it is supposed to be used to dodge attacks. The reason for this is because of the nerfs to the dodge meter. He has a 20-second cooldown on this ability, and I wanted to dodge similarly to TD Eclipsed, but not TD Eclipsed. I did not want to use a counter. I wanted to do something completely different, and I feel like this works pretty dang well. For his passives, he has dodge, which works exactly the same, though now you only start the game with 25 instead of 50. The maximum remains at 50, however, but you only have 25 to start. Guilt works exactly the same with the fastest thing alive passive. Determination is a new passive. When under 50 HP in LMS, he'll go ever so slightly faster than his normal, and his cooldowns will drop to 30 for drop dash and 35 for peel out, as one final hoorah! Next up, we have Knuckles the Echidna, Guardian of the Master Emerald. Similarly to Sonic, I like his kit. However, I did decide to mess with it a little bit. His first ability, as always, is Punch. It's exactly the same as before, now with a 27-second cooldown instead of 24, due to he gets another stunning ability, and I didn't want him to become too oppressive. All of its old aspects, including the charge, stance, and ground slam, still apply. His second ability is Block. It has the same setup, the loud audio cue, the slowness, and the glowing. But now, it depends on when you're hit during the move. If hit within the first half second, it'll parry the attack like normal and stun the EXE for 3 seconds. If hit after that, it'll cancel the damage, give Knuckles a speed boost, and prevent the EXE from attacking for 2 seconds. Hitting a parry brings the cooldown down to 20 seconds, hitting a block brings it to 25, and missing it entirely means that the cooldown will be 30 seconds. Finally, he has Dig. Knuckles digs into the ground with a 2-second startup, gaining iframes while under the floor. He will move at a similar speed to Sonic's pre-rework drop dash, and produces rumbling sounds and dirt particles similarly to Vortex from Dimensional Coalescence to show his location. After 5 seconds, or if the button is clicked again, he will lunge from the ground in an uppercut. If connected, it will stun the EXE for 2.5 seconds. This ability has a cooldown of 30 seconds if hit, but a 37-second cooldown if not. For his passives, he has Glide, which works similarly to Cream's Glide. Clicking space in the air will trigger the Glide, though it can only be used for 3 seconds. It makes him slightly faster as well. His second passive lets him channel his little inner K, Lil K. It allows him to slowly scale a surface. Though significantly slower than Big K's climb, it can also be only done for 5 seconds and takes 2 seconds to regain a second of climb time, 10 seconds to fully regain it. If you run out of climb, you'll simply begin to slide down the wall like you do currently, though you can only remain on the wall for 10 seconds, whether climbing or not. You also cannot regain climb time while on a wall, and jumping from the wall automatically triggers a glide. Being hit causes you to immediately fall and completely drains the rest of your climb meter no matter how much you had when you got hit. Finally, we have the passive Tougher Than Leather. He simply has 115 HP, allowing him to tank an extra Rage Mode hit or a Colossus M1. And finally, we have Tails. Buckle in, because we've only just begun. His first ability, Laser Cannon. Using it allows you to charge for up to 6 seconds. This will be important later. Clicking the button again will cancel it, putting it on an 8-second cooldown. After firing any mode, there will be a 15-second overheat period regardless of how much energy you have remaining. His second ability is a fake ring container. This is an ability I made a while ago, but I decided to go ahead and bring it back for this. Tails pulls out a canister of fake rings and sets it on the ground. If the EXE steps near it, it shall explode, releasing a wave of rings around it in a circular motion. If hit by a ring, the EXE will be slowed for 3 seconds, and lose the ability to M1 for that time as well. If another ring manages to hit, a second will be added on to that timer, a maximum of 5 seconds tops. Though given the ring's pattern, it is unlikely. It has a cooldown of 30 seconds and can be used while flying, dropping it, and causing it to explode upon contact with the floor. All other aspects still apply to this variation. Finally, we have Mode Swap. This ability switches the firing type to Beam, Orb, Shockwave, or Scatter, each one requiring a minimum amount of charge to use. First up, we have Beam. It's like how we have it now, but the stun is only active for as long as the beam remains on the EXE, and a second after, bringing its maximum stun time to 7 seconds. To make up for this, it can be used at any beam level, though the beam will only last for as long as it is charged. So if you charge the beam cannon for 1 second, you can only fire for 1 second, thus giving you roughly a 1 second amount of time to get away, given the fact that you will only have that little after 1 second. This particular type is more or less meant to help your team from a distance, as it has infinite range and is easier to hit. Secondly, we have Orb, a slow-moving shot similar to TD Eclipse's Orb fire type. Upon contact with a surface, the orb will explode, leaving a shockwave that launches, stuns, or slows the killer depending on how close they were to the blast center. The maximum stun time is 3 seconds, and the minimum slowness time is a second. This, of course, depends on how close they were to the center of the blast. This requires half a meter of charge, 3 seconds, but can also be charged for longer, for a bigger projectile, longer stun / slow, and blast radius. Next up, we have Shockwave, similarly to the current burst, though launches further and slows for 1 second instead of stunning. Can be used with any amount of charge time, similarly to the beam, and each second of charging increases the launch distance and increases the slow time by a second. Finally, we have Scatter. Releases a shotgun-esque blast of 6 yellow beams. For each beam that hits, the EXE will be slowed for a second. If 3 beams hit, the EXE will be stunned for 3 seconds. Each beam that hits after that will add a second onto the stun. It only requires half the bar, but for each second added onto that an extra beam will be released. So if all 6 original beams and all 3 extra beams hit, it has a potential stun of 9 seconds. This requires all the shots to hit and for the EXE to be close so that you can hit all 9 of them. And now, on to his passives. Yep, it's finally a passive. Glide. It works like the ability. Hit space in the air to activate, and has a maximum flight time of 6 seconds without any sort of drawback. For every 2 seconds you're on the ground, a second of flight will be returned, giving it a roughly 12-second cooldown to fully fill it. Though it can be used regardless of how much is left. Say if you only have 3 seconds left, you can use it anyway. While slower than Silver's, it makes up for it with the time you're in the air. You're able to fly for an extra 4 seconds, though doing slow will slow you down upon landing for each second over the 6 seconds you do it. It also prevents the bar from filling for that time as well, increasing the maximum cooldown to 20 seconds from the 12 it was originally. A bar is visible on the side of the screen, showing the flight time remaining. The extra 4 seconds appears in red at the bottom. Clicking the laser cannon ability it is replaced with stop glide. Clicking it causes you to, well, stop gliding. As mentioned, you can also drop the ring canister from the air, causing it to explode upon contact with the floor. Secondly, we have Animal Sense. Highlights the EXE when someone enters chase for a second. Then after every 8 seconds that person remains in chase, it gets highlighted again. This is used to set up shots. Metal Support is next, and it's slightly nerfed, now only doing it every 1.2 seconds instead of for a second. Finally, we have the Energy Cannon Meter. It shows how much energy you have. It takes 40 seconds to fully charge, and you start with a full at the start of the match. It takes 25 seconds to charge an LMS. The bar is split up into 6 seconds, each one taking a second to charge it. Allows for use of laser cannon. It has an overheat period of 15 seconds after any individual shot. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my Sonic Heroes rework. Took me significantly longer to create than Eggman's, given the fact I had nothing pre-planned for this one. But as always, it was fun. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching. A poll will be coming out a bit after this video comes out to decide the next character, or characters. If you have the time, please give it a vote. It would help me out a ton, as I wish to do the ones you guys are personally excited for. And as always, if a Sonic ASIM dev decides or wants to use my concepts, feel free. Just please credit me in some way, shape, or form. That is all I ask. Have a good day/night. This is Gub, signing off.
Shalom baka. Shalom kampaya ng shamala kampapa. Ah.